goddamn race!
What's up, everybody? This is Black Otaku, and I got another Sly video for you guys. Personally, it's mostly about how Sly 5 is even going to start. Like, where do they go from here? I mean, Sansa really got themselves into quite a pickle, though. I mean, think about it. They pretty much written themselves into a corner, pretty much. And me and a whole lot of fans really want to see another Sly game. But personally, here's how I think it would happen, like how they're going to start the next Sly game. But this is just me, and I have multiple ways that they could start the Sly. They start the Sly 5 game. Well, first, I think that we should start it the same way that Jak 3 started. But mine's the whole city kicking him out for, well, pretty much how the desert scene started, pretty much. And go from there. Basically, he's, looking around. He sees he sees civilization in the distance, but he's like way out there in the desert. He crawls and everything. He's running, crawling, and everything. And finally, he just passes out. And as he passes out, he pretty much just tells us his life story a little bit. Or better yet, how about we just make a reference to like how many times he has told us his life story, like. Seriously, who starts from the fourth or third game and not, you know what I mean? It's like, I'm Sly Cooper, but I bet you already knew that. And as you can see, I'm in quite a predicament. He does a little recap of what happened in the previous game, but make it short and sweet. And then finally, he, in his little dream fever, like his heat stroke fever, dream, we do he does a few little reminiscing about maybe have him do the cookie heist, like from his very first heist. That's his best, one of his greatest memories and everything, and start from there. And after that little heist and everything, after the little memory and heist that you do in his memories, you flash back to where he is. He's on the ground, passed out. And we show a group of people in a caravan just, passing through. They notice him in the sand, just wasting away pretty much. And they're like, oh my goodness, we need to help him. They turn him over and they try to figure out who he is and figure out a way they can identify him. It's like, we've never seen him before. But they look very closely at his attire and the cane that he was carrying. They know it's like, oh, he's a Cooper. That thing. So, we don't show, we're not going to show, they're not going to show who's, picking them up and bringing them with them. That sort of thing. Then we flash, and then we flash forward. It's like we flash over to what, Bentley and them are doing. They have I know they're not going to convince Carmelita to, dress up like a thief and, try to keep the whole Cooper gang legend alive or keep their gang's name infamous, But I'm thinking maybe after a little while, he kind of figured out a way to do it. I found a way to actually find Sly. Something like that. Like my guess for one of my few guesses and ideas I think that they could do to find Sly would be to use a DNA tracker instead of the time machine. So Bentley realizes I had a very powerful tracking device, well, DNA tracker anyway, and a lot of people are like, DNA tracker, what are you talking about? Well, it was in the fourth game. How do you think they were trying to locate Salim Al-Kupar? And they managed to find Salim by looking around a little bit of traces and everything. But, he found a way the whole time since Sly was gone. He's been doing nothing but, keeping the Cooper legend alive while at the same time working on a way to find him. He succeeds in building a brand new tracking device, DNA tracker anyway. He uses it for the first time. He takes a lock from one of Sly's old hats or maybe one of his some clothing, or better yet, he gets some DNA from maybe a comb that Carmelita had along with her as a keepsake. I know you're probably wondering why would she keep a cane, not a cane, but a comb or a lock of his hair. That's kind of creepy, but I'm just saying maybe she goes to her apartment or wherever and brings it back, and it works. And they notice it leads all the way to an ancient Egyptian exhibit in a museum, all the way to a sarcophagus. They opened the sarcophagus, and they all feared the worst, and they were right. They opened it, and they find his skeleton in there, and then they realize, oh Lord, he was in ancient Egypt. That's where he got sent. That sort of thing, like that. Or better yet, that's one way I thought about doing it. Well, I thought about they could do it. Or another way would be the whole Penelope sort of hint, the hinting that she's been doing near the end of Sly 4. And it's like, I've been to the lab, I've been here. I'm trying. It's like she's obviously trying to get Bentley's attention because she escaped from jail. And to be honest, I wouldn't be surprised. I'm not really all that shocked that she escaped. That's all I'm saying. I mean, after all, she is pretty smart, so I wouldn't put it past her. Anywho, she's trying to let him know that, hey, I know a way to find Sly or whatever. I know what's going on and everything. Like how I see it with Penelope's character and where they can go from here is either she's gonna redeem herself by helping finding Sly, find a way to atone for the messed up crap that she did in season. Wow, sorry. I'm only doing one take. For the messed up crap that she did in the previous game. And, Bentley, he's like, I don't blame Bentley. I'll be like, he's skeptical. Like, he has absolutely no trust in her. Zero trust. And can you blame him? Like, the girl pretty much just ripped his heart out. Stole his plans and sold him and his buddies out, while at the same time ruining and destroying someone's, family history and timeline. It's like I know Le Paradox isn't the greatest villain. Let's just say his boss fight was really lacking. I wasn't expecting that. To be honest, I didn't expect him to do the whole ninja spiral jump that he did for those little arms from one little arm to another. I wasn't expecting that in the last game. But still, though, do you know how mad, do you know how angry you have to be to go back in time and ev up the timeline just to erase someone's family name and history? You have to be pretty obsessed. That's all I got to say. I mean, that's nowhere near where Clockwork's level was, but it's a good second. That's just me, though. That's just my opinion. But honestly and truthfully, I feel like if she does redeem herself, she's gonna have to go through hell and back just to get not just his trust, Murray's trust, Carmelita's trust, and more importantly, Sly's trust. And you thought in the third game, the events of the third game were pretty awkward with him and Panda King. Oh, it's gonna be a hell of a lot worse. Panda King only had a hand in killing his parents. I know, I'd still be pretty mad too. But Sly forgave him, I guess. But do you know how messed up? He's like, do you know how messed up it would be that you had a hand in helping a villain of a rival thief family ruin your legacy and family name, and clearly trying to erase you and your entire Cooper line out of existence. Oh man, I wouldn't even look in her. But I wouldn't even spit in her direction or anybody's direction that did that to me. I was like, nah, man, you're going to take a. I was like, I hate to say it, but you're going to take a few. You ain't going to take a bullet. You're going to take a few bullets for me to trust you again. But that's just me though. That's just me though. Or they can go but for another way they could go with it is her being the main antagonist of the next game. Personally, I kind of wish they could do with the redemption thing, because it's kind of like, but then again, it would make more sense for her to be the main villain. But you know where I'm going with this. Maybe have her be the main villain and pick up where a Paradox left off. And the main issue that bothers me about the fourth game is this. They accidentally stumbled upon the Grizz's operation and what he was doing. The question is, how many people did the Paradox recruit for this mission? Because you know there's more than one ancestor. And the thing is, the ancestors he targeted were the Coopers that actually made huge achievements with certain moves and techniques and well-known infamous robberies and heists. Think about it. Like, how do we know they didn't send someone to go after Sly's father? And you're probably wondering, well, the timeline hasn't changed. Like, yeah, not yet. And last time I checked, Sly's father lived in a much, simpler time. Meaning there's no just like with the other Coopers, they lived before the internet and everything, so it's gonna be kind of hard to track them without a DNA tracer or anything, or tracker, or better yet, no thief is just gonna walk right past you on the street. I mean, like, that's what the ninjas of what real ninjas back during those times would do. They wore like civilian clothes and everything and blended in plain sight. And people are like, and maybe that's why you understand why some ninjas wear all black and cover nothing but their eyes, so you can't identify them in the street. If they leave any trace or just show any little hint of who they may really be, they were in trouble. And I kind of feel like that's how the Coopers would work and operate. Especially Slayton Common. I mean, like, come on, man. He came up with invisibility. he should be the king, the godfather of getting in and getting out and leaving no trace. But more importantly, though, the fact is, with Sly being gone and everything, I kind of feel like even if Bentley and Penelope were actually, at each other's throats through the whole thing, and she's still the main antagonist, the question is, what would she do? Like, would she go back in time? Would she go forward in time? Maybe she'll be responsible for the one creating, I don't know, Clockwork's, immortal body. But personally, I have, like, one of my previous theories in one of my older videos. I still stand by the whole body switching thing, or maybe he was cursed with immortality. I mean, I know a lot of people are like, immortality is not really that bad of a curse. I'm like, yeah, it is. If you want a family, you want to have love in your life and everything. Oh man, the thing is, I'm guessing if it was an actual curse on Clockwork, it would just be eternal life. It wouldn't be eternal youth. Oh no. Which could explain why he would need an immortal body. He would need a metallic body that would not quit on him. Think about it. What happens when you get older and older and older? Your bones and bodies start to deteriorate. So I wouldn't be surprised if he started replacing parts of his body sooner or later. And then eventually he did a full body, mold and everything. But still, though, the possibilities are endless with this, with Sly 5. There's no telling where they can go with this. I thought of another one would be that maybe the reason it's like maybe we find out that the mole villain character that was cut from the game is still in ancient Egypt, and Sly accidentally stumbles upon his operation by accident as well. That's what I'm thinking of that. Like, and the only reason why the Thievius Raccoonus and everything is perfectly fine and nothing was altered was because he did something smart. He found out that the Paradox had been captured and sent to jail, and everybody else, and the jig is up. The jig is up, man. And if I go back, the Cooper gang would just find out who I am and send me to jail if they ever happen to stumble upon my little time traveling trip. That sort of thing. So maybe he has like a prototype time machine that, that Le Paradox and Penelope were testing, and it doesn't need a specific object, but a certain type of gem to power it, or some type of magic stone or something. I don't know, maybe some nuclear energy, I don't know. It's like, and he keeps it on him, and the only reason why nothing changed was because he simply just traded places with the current pharaoh that was in power. And since he, his technological marvels and everything, they all just worshipped him like a god, just like the ancient Egyptians did. Did before, pretty much did. And and that's the main reason why. He was just smart with it. He didn't alter anything for real. He just basically did what the pharaoh that he replaced did, and made sure the events played out the same, nearly identical or the same way, with very little to no changes. Until Sly comes around and throws a monkey wrench in that plan, and then eventually they figure out how, then we go back to the whole finding his skeleton thing. They carbon date his skeleton, they figure out exactly when, they find out when and where he was sent. They go back in time, they find Sly, but they didn't get there to where he was, exactly when he got there, or at least hours when he got there, but maybe a year or two later, like after Sly spent 2 years in that, decade, in that time period, we're introduced to a whole new Sly. His outfit, his thief outfit and uniform is, equipped with a little more, Egyptian type style with it. Rips and tears, but rounded up with bandages and a little bit of gold on them and stuff like that. Kind of like what the Slytherin Common would look like in Sly 1 when he's first, shown and introduced, something like that, but a little more doper looking, I guess. I'm not saying that Sly would be a hardened person and everything due to the harsh environments of the desert, deserty landscape of Egypt, but I'm thinking like the whole time since, he figured out that we later figured out that Slytherin Common was the one that found him and a group of other raccoons. Instead of just seeing one freaking ancestor, we see like a small little group. They have Egyptian names and everything, Cooper, and their all last name is Cooper and everything. But Slytherin Common, the thing is, we don't know which Slytherin Common. Like maybe Slytherin Common the first, second, or the third, or the one that came up with the entire concept of the Thievius Raccoonus. And since he figured, I know so many techniques from the Thievius Raccoonus from the future, I don't have to. It's like if I say or do anything that will alter the past, it can cause a lot of trouble. So he did the most natural thing. He figured, since I'm stuck here for a while, why not just learn from the current ancestor that I'm with? So he spends like the next 2 years training and doing nothing but training to master his thieving skills. Now the thing is, the only reason why nothing was altered was because he stayed under the radar. He didn't touch anything. All he did was just focus and figure out his Cooper focus and use it to his advantage in every little situation. And then we finally get introduced to Clockwork before the transformation to an entirely metal body. that would be nice. Like that's something we all want to see. Like what was Clockwork like before all this? Like how did he even get mixed up with the Coopers in the first place? You know, that sort of thing. Like what caused all that hate? Like do you realize, he's like, it's got to be something huge for you to actually get this mad and be that much of a hater of someone's entire family line. And you do everything you can in your power, immortal power, to actually take out the Coopers. Or they find a way to defeat you first. That's like, there's so many things we could go with this. I figured since like Sly was with them for 2 years, I want to be doing this. Like, instead of just him just learning that one particular trick, maybe all the tricks that he's learned over the years from the Thievius Raccoonies, he can do it all at will. And through the game, you just upgrade those skills, or you unlock those certain abilities through the game, instead of just unlocking them like near the last ending of the game, and you don't really get to enjoy them because you got to play through it again and do it with those skills. I mean, like, why not learn a new skill after each like maybe 2, maybe 3 jobs, and right before you do it, you have to utilize that skill and beat the boss and move on to the next episode. That's something that would be great. And, you know, since we're in ancient Egypt, why not start with the invisibility thing? I mean, I would kill to see a Sly, a Sly Cooper that's more experienced, like really experienced, like 2 years training. I'm talking like Naruto Shippuden meets Sly Cooper, that sort of thing. He's stronger, he's quicker, he's more agile. He thinks things, he thinks things through, like really think things through. It's like his skill has only gotten better. Like if they brought him into modern day, like back to the modern day, he could steal anything with or without Bentley's, intel and everything. He knows exactly how to get past certain, obstacles and everything without even the use of hacking. Like, his skill would be that good. But, that would be like a little crisis, a little drama between him and Bentley and what Dr. M said about those two. And it's like, is he going to go the same way his father did? Like, think that he doesn't need a team anymore and just go off? Or, I'm not saying that's what happened between, it's like with Dr. M and Connor Cooper, I guess. But still, no offense, I really wasn't expecting his name to be Connor. Well, it is a little weird, a little strange. I was like, really, Connor? I was expecting like Cornelius Cooper or something. That's what I was expecting, but that's me though. Well, since I have a long name and I don't want to say it because no school teacher in all my years of school has ever gotten it right, but still, that's just how I feel about it. Wow, I'm just dragging on with this. But to be honest, like I said before, the possibilities of Sly 5 are endless. Like, there are so many ways they can go with it. They can unlock so much lore, or create so many different things that could happen. I mean, like, to be honest, I'm more anxious to see how it begins and how it ends, how the game would end. Personally, I feel like if they're going to end the game, maybe have Carmelita and Sly finally, come to terms with what both of their jobs and their titles and what their roles in life are about. And, instead of being a game of cat and mouse, or better yet, should I say more like Batman and Catwoman, but gender swapped. More like Batgirl and Catman. But still, enough of my dumb jokes. But still, though, I mean, the way I see it ending, they could end it like in a vague way, like they did with like Sly 2, kind of. How Carmelita's like, "I'll see you around, Ringtail," that sort of thing, hinting at another sequel. Or I really don't want them to end it the same way they did with Sly 3 and Sly 4. Cliff hangers. Cliffhangers. Can't stand that. No more cliffhangers. Either in the series or end it or end the game in a good note, but still gives us hope for another game in the near future. That's just how I feel about it. I feel like they should just end it like that. Both of them coming to understands with one another. Either choose to be together, despite what you two do for a living. And when you think about it, their jobs aren't really that different, except one does it for, a Robin Hood type thing, a vigilante, really. A vigilante that profits from taking down bad guys. And when you think about it, police pretty much do the same thing. Except they have to answer to somebody if they F up, pretty much. Or there are like rules and guidelines on how to handle situations like that. I'm really hoping that it ends with her saying that she's pregnant or something. But then again, it wouldn't make much sense. Like, when did you two have time to... And it shows that Bentley had said that Carmelia has been busier now than ever. So there's really no way she could have gotten pregnant or be pregnant at the time. Or maybe another conflict, like maybe like throughout the game they find out that Carmelita moved on. I'm just kidding. That'd be so effed up. That'd be so mean. I would not wish that upon anyone. Since Sly was gone so long, she had to move on. Nah, I'm just kidding. I'm thinking maybe later in the game, like near the end of the game, they do a flash forward and they show Sly and Carmelita working for another organization that, they do what Sly does, but in a much happier note, I guess. Like they work more like mercenaries, I guess, something like that. They still get paid. They stop bad guys. But, they have the option whether to steal from said bad guys. But, that sort of thing. I don't know. Something like that. Or maybe they flash forward and they show, Sly bouncing a baby, like two babies on his, baby on his knee. Babies on his knees or something like. They're twins. One of them's a girl. One of them's a boy. The girl wants to be what her father is, and the boy wants to be like his mom. A cop or something. Cause like another little conflict, and they flash forward again. And it's like these two are constantly getting in each other's way and everything. He's a thief. She's a cop. He's a cop, or she's a thief. That sort of thing. But most importantly of all, I really wish they would, they would actually do something with the Sly series that they did with the Jack, like with the Jack series, or the franchise anyway. Like Jack 1, it was like a common piece of thing. It's like a common little thing going on. It was just good enough for kids to be playing it and everything. And then the next game they just full on teen and everything. Like yet Sly's like rated E. It's like I was expecting Sly to, at least do the same thing that the Jack series did and just go up, age their ranking a little bit more. Cause like there are so many things in these games that they've done that, like seriously, you couldn't just bump it, go ahead and push the rating up. No one would mind. I mean, like we would actually appreciate it more. Better yet, I'm waiting on the day to hear Sly swear. I want to hear him curse so bad. I really do. I'm waiting on that day. I want to hear Bentley. I want to hear Murray. I want to hear everybody in that game cursing. I mean, like, seriously, Jack, it's like the real shift that happened with the Jack series, it went from being like this to like, holy crap, this went from Jack to Jack 2 meets GTA. I mean, it's not as bad as GTA with the swearing and everything. But like the sexual innuendos went a little bit further. They pushed up a little further with it. I'm saying there's nothing wrong with that. They really could do it if they wanted to. In fact, I think gamers would appreciate it more. Better yet, I can't help but feel that if they did that from like they did that same transition that they did with Jack, maybe like during the second game, like from Sly 1 to Sly 2, and they upped the rating a little bit and they got a little more risque jokes and did a little further, I can't help but feel that the Sly series will be a hell of a lot more popular. I can't help but feel that. But still, though, that's just me. That's how I feel about it. That's just my personal opinion, how I feel about it. So, since I'm about to go ahead and end this video anyway, I went on for a good 30, pretty much 20-something minutes, 30-something minutes by now. I want to know what you guys think in the comment section. Hit me up. Let's have a full-on discussion. How do you feel about Sly 5? What are your theories? What are your thoughts? Where do you think they'll go with it? Will Sucker Punch come back and work on it? Will Sansaru come back and work on it? Or will they both come together? I really hope they both come together together. That's just my come together and make the game. And maybe take a step further with its content. I know the series is already dark enough, but I can't help but feel like it could be slightly more darker and it would be perfect. But like I said before, like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think. I'm Black Otaku, and I'm signing off. Stay safe, stay awesome.